Hello, my name is Dr. Yaya Sissoko. Today we are going to talk about Chapter 5, the elasticity of supply. Let me begin with the following question. What is the elasticity of supply? The elasticity of supply is how much the quantity supply of a good respond to a change in the price of that good. The elasticity of supply is computed by taking the percentage change in the quantity supply divided by the percentage change in price. So the ratio of supply depend on the flexibility of seller to change the amount of the good they produce it. What is an elastic supply? Supply is said to be elastic when quantity supply responds substantially to changes in the price. In other words, the value of the elasticity is greater than 1. On the other hand, an inelastic supply is whenever quantity supply responded to only to slightly changes in the price. So in this case, the value of the elasticity would be between 0 and 1. So the determinant of price elasticity of supply is the time period. So supply is more elastic in the long run. When computing the price elasticity of supply, you take the percentage change in quantity supply divided by the percentage change in price. The price elasticity of supplies is always positive. In order to compute the value of the price elasticity of supply, we are going to use the midpoint method or midpoint formula. We use the same method, the same formula in computing the price elasticity of demand. So you pick the 2 point, the coordinate Q1 and P1, and coordinate of Q2 and P2. So price elasticity supply equal to the difference of the quantity Q2 minus Q1 divided by half of the sum of the quantity Q2 plus Q1 divided by 2. Everything divided by the difference of the price, P2 minus P1, divided by the half of the sum of the price, P2 plus P1 divided by 2. So when dealing with the variety of supply curve, the supply is uni-elastic when the price elasticity of supply is equal to 1. This means that percentage change of the quantity supply is exactly equal to percentage change of the price. The supply is elastic when the price elasticity of supply is greater than 1. This means that the percentage change of the quantity supply is greater than the percentage change of the price. The supply is inelastic when the price elasticity of supply is less than 1. This means that the percentage change of the quantity supply is less than the percentage change of the price. The supply is perfectly inelastic when the price elasticity of supply equal to 0. This means that the percentage change of the quantity supply equal to 0. The supply curve is vertical in this case. The supply is perfectly elastic when the price elasticity of supply is equal to infinity. So this means that the percentage change of the price is then equal to 0. So the supply curve is horizontal in this case. Figure 5 deal with the price elasticity of supply, panel A and B. In panel A show perfectly the case of perfectly inelastic supply where elasticity equal to 0. This means that the percentage change of the quantity equal to 0. So this is the case of a vertical supply curve. So when the price increases, when there is an increase in the price, for instance, from $4 to $5, this leaves the quantity supply and change. You should buy at the unit of the good. So this will be the case, for instance, of prescription drugs, where the price doesn't matter at any price. You're still going to buy the same quantity of drugs that you buy every month as a prescription. Panel B deal with inelastic supply where the value of the elasticity is less than 1. This means that an increase, a 22% increase in the price lead to only 10% increase in the quantity supply. So, so the percentage change of the price here is greater than the percentage change of the quantity. So the supply curve is inelastic, and the curve is going to be, much more steeper. So the price elasticity of supply determine whatever the supply curve is steep or flat, because the elasticity is the curve is inelastic. So the supply curve will be much steeper. Again, figure 5 display the price elasticity of supply panel C. In panel C, we have the case of unit elastic supply where the value of elasticity equal to 1. This means that a 22% increase in the price lead exactly to a 22% increase in the quantity supply. So the value of elasticity will be equal to 1. Again, in figure 5, display the price elasticity of supply panel D and E. In panel D, deal with the elastic supply where the value of elasticity is greater than 1. This means that a 22% increase in the price lead to 67% increase in the quantity supply. So the value of the elasticity is greater than 1, and the supply curve is much, flatter. So panel E deal with perfectly elastic supply where the value of the elasticity is equal to infinity. Now, this means that so the percentage of the price equal to 0. We have a horizontal supply curve. So at any price above $4, quantity supply is infinite. So at exactly $4 producer will supply any quantity. So at any price below $4, quantity supply equal to 0. So the supply curve is perfectly, horizontal. In this case, this will be the case of the stock market where you have many buyer and seller, and then so the seller will provide any quantity of the stock at a given price. Like for the demand curve, the supply curve also will have different price elasticity. Point with the low price and low quantity will lead to elastic supply. So the value of the elasticity will be greater than 1, meaning that the percentage change of the quantity is greater than the percentage change of the price. So the capacity for production is not being used by the producer. On the other hand, point with high price and high quantity will lead to inelastic supply, meaning that the value of elasticity is less than 1, is between 0 and 1, and then therefore the quantity, percentage of the quantity supply is less than the percentage change of the price. Figure number 6 display how the price elasticity of supply can vary. For instance, at a low price and low quantity, the elasticity of supply is large, greater than 1. So on the other hand, at high price, 12 to 15, and high quantity 500 to 525, the value of the elasticity is small, less than 1. The supply curve is inelastic here, and the supply curve is elastic in this case. So because film often have a maximum capacity for production, the elasticity of supply may vary, you know, very high at low level of quantity supply and very low at higher level of quantity supply. For instance, here an increase in the price from $3 to $4. So $3 to $4. So so using the quantity supply from 100 to 200, because the 67% increase in the quantity supply computed using the midpoint formula is larger than the 29% increase in the price. The supply curve is elastic in this range. It is this one. By contrast, when the price rises from 12 to $15, from 12 to $15, the quantity supply rises from 500 to 525, so 500 to 525. So because the 5% increase in quantity supply is smaller than the 22% increase in the price, the supply curve is inelastic in this range, which is going to be this case.